Let me ask you a question. What is common between Audi and Maruti? Both these car giants use Mappls, MapmyIndia, as their navigation tech partner in India. We recently got the chance to speak to Rakesh Verma, CMD and co-founder of MapmyIndia, and understand how he pioneered several firsts in navigation, digital maps, and location technology. We hope you enjoy this discussion and stay tuned right till the end.
Sir, MapmyIndia's journey from being a startup to being a market leader in digital mapping is truly inspiring for all of us. Welcome to Masters Union, sir.
Thank you for all the things that you said. I'll be speaking in a very simple way. So the best way to start is from what you said just now. We came back to India after long 12 years of working in the United States at a time when India had filed kind of bankruptcy in early 90s. For you people who were not born also, so you may not be knowing. But if you go back to the economic history of India, that was the situation when we had pledged our gold to the Bank of England. We started digital mapping in 95. So I'll tell you how we started. 92 to 94, we were doing what we had done in the US, working on the giant, large IBM mainframe software development. And CNC magazine like DataQuest had rated us as the third fastest growing software company in India. Under that situation, when we were growing like that, who were the other players? The other players who had started in the similar field were Infosys, TCS, like that. Everybody wonders because that was our fourth change in our life, that after doing that successfully and doing very well, we took a U-turn again and said to ourselves, this is not what we have come back to India for. Coming back to digital mapping, the most important part, our mind was clear in few things. One, if we have come back to India, we want to do something good for the country. We saw a digital map in the US in 95. In one of the conferences or exhibitions, whatever you call it, it was me and my wife together, and we said, this is wonderful. Why don't we do it something like this in India? Then we started understanding that what these digital maps can do. So cut the story short, we understood that majority of any data, rather 80% of any data, you are dealing with data every day, correct? 80% of any data will have a location component. Location means XY coordinates or XYZ coordinates. You understand, I hope. And that was the conviction. So first, the idea that digital maps are interesting, we fell in love with that. Second, we got the conviction. Nobody in India had thought of digital maps, believe me. Neither in the government nor in the corporate world, nobody. So first was, as I said, the idea. The second was we fell in love. Third was the conviction that we got. But these three are not enough by itself. The fourth most important thing was that happened, it took us 5 long years after that when we started, the passion for it. The product that you want to make, you have to think about it, whether that product will have a market or not. In our case, of course, there was no market since nobody knew about it, what it is like. My son, who is currently the CEO also of the company, he was like 6, 7, 8 years old. People used to ask, what do your parents do? And he used to say, kuch map banate hain. We knew this is a vast country. It will take us ages. With the technology that was available at that time. There was no GPS. There was no satellite imageries, nothing. And here we have ventured into that territory. People, our friends called crazy. We came back to India, that these guys were the third fastest growing software company in India. They stopped that and they're making these digital maps. Where is the product market fit? This product market fit was our conviction. We knew that it will take us at least 10 years to build a product which will take some shape. That was our way of looking at it. We were doing it because we liked something, we loved something. And having worked in the US, we were safe financially and the rest of our life, so we could do it. Now, the product market fit started happening. During these 10 long years, first, the funding was not available. I hope You know that there was no VCs in India, nobody like that. So how did we sustain other than our own money, which was small money only? We sustained from the customer's money. So while we were developing our product, we also serviced many customers. Most of them were multinationals, whether it was Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Hindustan Lever or Motorola or Ericsson. In their own ways, they needed maps for many of their activities. A customer funded business model, you never have to return the money. When you get the money from customer, it is something you have earned and you don't have to repay them. Repayment to them is in the form of a service. And the customer funded business model really how how we operated during those years. In 2004, even before Mr. Google had arrived in the scene, we brought out India's first internet mapping portal. Now, that was also very interesting because it was homegrown. The digital maps were homegrown. When I say homegrown, meaning in other words, technical words, the intellectual property was owned by us. So we made sure that we will build products and platform even those days that we will only license the data or we will provide any services on top of that, but we will not sell our data or we will not do a service where customer says it is his data. For that, we didn't do work for many customers. But in 2004, we said that we have to move from this cloud computing was not there. So we said, how do we take out our digital map in the eyes or domain of many users, whether corporate or individuals or wherever? So you see today, nothing new for you. You see those Google Maps on the mobile phone, blah, blah, blah. I will not talk much about it. But 2004, we developed the technology in-house. Remember the digital map technology we developed? We developed the internet mapping portal technology. Till that time, it was just two of us. And of course, there were 40, 50 employees at that time. Two of us means me and my wife, who came from technical side of it. I took care from the business side and the product side. MapmyIndia was not a name in 1995. In 1995, the brand was called Mapples. And today you nicely see Mapples, MapmyIndia, whoever has gotten a chance. So from 2004 till 2021, 22, Mapples was sitting quiet. And now Mapples has come out. So that internet portal was liked by many people because now on the internet they can go. It was slow, but they could go and find any place in the country, see the directions, not navigate, see the directions, because in the internet mapping portal you can't. That's not meant for driving. Then we said we need to create revenue now out of it. Now the time came where through the technology product we had developed, we said let us get the revenue out of it. We immediately brought in a portable device, P&Ds, in the brand MapmyIndia Navigator, which had the maps and the software, which was all ours, hardware we had purchased, which was put in the car. Believe me, in 2007 till 2010, at least more than 1 lakh of that device was sold. Because there was nothing like that. But immediately in 2009, we could see the phones had come up, smartphones. The story I'm telling you, you can relate it when you are doing a business on a long term, large corporates or anybody. You have to think about, based on the market competition, based on the market changes, you have to keep navigating. Otherwise, if you don't learn to navigate and you are just happy with something you have done, it will have a natural death. We moved from original B2C business to B2B business. Now, today we are coming back with vengeance on B2C. Now we are in a situation to challenge the might of Google. Now, that's the strength we have gotten today. And in the last 6 months, 20 million folks have downloaded Mapples app without us spending a penny. It is the organic download. So, what we did for this market fit, we said, let's be creative. How the creativeness comes? You know, when you drive a car or a two-wheeler, doesn't matter, safety is of paramount importance. You all agree, right? What are the car companies today talking about? Or what are they trying to do? You might be going to might be seeing people buying cars. The car dealers say, this car has ADAS features. Seat belts are designed for safety. Like that, there are a lot of safety features that car companies want to put in. Since we own 80% of the market share in the car industry, in the automotive industry, not car, two-wheeler also, all these auto OEMs look at us of the new technology. What next we can bring in for them? In that context, safety was also thrown as a challenge to us. What MapmyIndia can do for providing safety to the drivers. So when we started our own, we have been building maps, we have built 3D maps. We said how nice it would be when we all drive and you are driving and you are using Google Maps. When you drive on a flyover or you have to stay under, don't you get confused?
Yes.
It's a normal confusion.
Yes.
Now, does it affect safety or not?
Yes, it does.
It does, right? So, what we did was we had those 3D maps. We said at every flyover or every fork rather, whether to stay on right or left, whether to go up or down, provide the 3D feature. And that's what caused that 20 million downloads. And that's why we now feel that we can take on the might. Because if one feature can do it, even before that we believed and still believe that our maps are much better than Google. But who is going to listen? I could have now, I'll tell you, people said, oh, you have the funds. You have earned so much over the last 10 years. You have a very strong, healthy balance sheet. You don't have to even ask anyone for money. Just start advertising, meaning burn it. Since we started from scratch, we understand the value of every penny because it has not been given by somebody. It is all customer funded. In the whole history of MapmyIndia, today the market cap is more than almost $1 billion or more than $1 billion. We have taken from the VCs in the past only 130 crores. And that also they sold it and they got their money back. So when you earn the money like that, what it does is the company's culture becomes where they don't go overboard. Build a product in such a way that somebody else will buy your company right away. Do not give it too much of time. And you want to be a serial entrepreneur, meaning thereby you don't want to keep moving forward. What is the challenge of that versus the kind of company we have built? Our challenge is constantly innovating. If we don't keep innovating, we'll be done. If you look at the history of IBM, that company has gone through many rough times. They went up, they came down, they have again went up like that. So whenever that innovation or their product for market stops, then the business has a problem. So think many times before having a venture which is you are going to run it forever. Now, if you want to start your business, look at what you want to do. What is that product going to do? Or if it is not a product, if it's a service business. Large companies, what they do? They have a market research organization. They will do plenty of market research to see whether the product or the service has a market or not. If you can afford it, wonderful, great. But if you can't afford it, that kind of a serious market research, then at least try out something. I'll give you a simple example. Back in 1999, when we were making the digital maps, I was trying to figure out how do we make the product market fit. And it was Mumbai where I led a team of 30 folks from my company and walked around every street, every lane was covered to get the address of the building. Because I figured out that if I do it, I will understand the pain of what it takes to do it.
Like, if I was really interested to, if you could share something about how from unicorn to launching your own IPO. So how was that phase? What happened behind the scenes?
Till the time we were unlisted company, IPO had not happened, and we didn't take investments. We took investments in the early times. So we were not given the tag of unicorn by the VCs. Many people say that, oh, VCs only have a right to call somebody a unicorn. In our case, the tag of unicorn was given to us by the marketplace. When we got listed, the value that came out was $1.2 billion or 1.3, something like that. So I was very happy that the markets believes, and market is the ultimate. VCs are not the ultimate. Our IPO was the IPO process or going for IPO was also in a way unique. Unique because our business operated in a very difficult environment. Forget about product market fit, regulatory environment. Till 21 February, believe me, no private companies were allowed to do mapping in India. You may ask the question how we were doing it. We were doing everything legal, so we have no issues. But we were getting totally suffocated because of this anti-national regulation. I used to call them anti-national. It was our good luck. We were fortunate that in December 2020, our Prime Minister gave me an opportunity to talk to him. It was a 15 minutes conversation and he understood the problem. In 2021 February itself, the government of India passed an order saying Indian companies can operate freely without any hesitation. Now, IPO. So till then, though, we could never think of IPO. One reason, how do we grow when there are so many regulatory constraints? How would we convince the bankers? They will ask 20 questions. That first question would be, how are you even operating? So we never thought about it. The idea had never struck. But the moment that happened, the regulations got changed. Let's go for the IPO. Because by doing the IPO, market will believe that we are the leaders. And if you are a leader, it gives you a lot of strength, whether for business acquisition or otherwise, for the employees to work in that kind of a company. So it took us just 6 months from the day to complete the process of IPO and launch it. The bankers were surprised. The lawyers were surprised. These are all famous lawyers, Cam, Sam, if you heard the name. They were surprised because they felt that this company has maintained a very high degree of corporate governance. Now, once the IPO happened, it was a moment of joy. It was a moment of great feelings when the Bombay Stock Exchange, when we could ring that bell and all that. Responsibilities now came on our shoulders that now there's 1 lakh investors who have invested in MapmyIndia shares. I'm accountable to them. The moment that feeling, that reality hits you, you accept it nicely. The investors, retail or big ones, I have never gone by what they say. We are running the business, but we are running the business in the interest of the company. So what we do, what decisions we take is not governed by what the investors say. For last 2 years, that's the principle we have believed. We will tell them this is what it is, this is the reality, and this is how we plan to grow.
Can you share something about how did you partner with ISRO? How did that partnership happen? You have also partnered with other tech giants as well. So how important were these collaborations for the success of both the parties?
My strong belief is you can't walk alone. Start with the first thing, employees only who are working. They are the closest partners. Without them, nothing will happen. Customers are also your partners who give you money. Now, you have a specific question about ISRO.
Yes.
Those were the days when regulation was operating in a very difficult way. Across the government departments, they all believe that the regulations are bad, including ISRO. But the regulations exist. What can people do about it? So the ISRO chairman felt that while they have the satellite imageries, they don't have the maps. So it was in the mutual interest. We said, okay, you take our maps and you give your satellite imageries. Today, in the new policy of the government, when they have totally liberalized it, the government says that every data, including imageries or whatever, that the government has is supposed to go into the public domain. Whether it goes or not is a different matter. I mean, one can file a PIL why that department is not giving the data, but they're supposed to be available in public domain. So when we talked to the chairman of ISRO, he understood. He said that's a real good thing for the development of the country. And that's how the relationship started.
So, but how do you differentiate your services from Google's to maintain the market leadership?
See, where we compete with Google, there is no money. That's the consumer one. It is free now. They also give it for free. I'm also giving it for free. So there's no revenue loss for us. Our revenues are coming from B2B. Name any enterprise, whether it's automotive or defense or FMCGs or e-commerce, they're all our customers. So I'm not competing with Google there.
So, thank you, sir, for your time today. We all were really, really happy learning from you.
Thank you.